Introduction. Imagine that one day, unexpectedly, you started speaking someone else's thoughts. How would you feel? Imagine, too, that the person whose thoughts you're speaking turns out to be an extraterrestrial. How would you feel then? Well, that's exactly what happened to the 5 women described in part 1 of this book. And I imagine it's the way that all channelers might feel at the outset. The beings that began speaking through them were either individuals or collectives, all from higher realms of consciousness. It turns out that this phenomenon is not uncommon, and it's called channeling. It's been around forever, and there are famous examples such as the Oracle of Delphi, Jane Roberts and Seth, Esther Hicks and Abraham, Darryl Anka and Bashar, Anne Morris and the Transeekers, and quite a few others, many of whom are featured on YouTube, in books, and on stage. Now, getting back to the feelings that one might experience as a channeler, here are some of the potential fears, challenges, and concerns. Are these beings going to take me over? Will my family and friends think I'm crazy? What is the accuracy of the information coming through? Will I be opening up to dark energies? If I attract an audience to a channeling event, will the beings show up? Etc., etc. This can be stressful enough, but on top of that, it's not uncommon to have had past lives in which one was severely punished for speaking out or for being a healer. All of these and more can make it difficult to go public with this talent. Against that background, when one becomes a channeler, there are many reasons to cover it up and not take it to the public. That said, my hat is off to those who channel, and as I've come to know these 5 channelers rather well, I especially applaud the courage, integrity, and persistence they have displayed in developing this skill, practicing it diligently, and preparing to take it to the public. As well, I have had the very fortunate experience of working with these 5 channelers on an almost weekly basis through the second half of 2018. I have benefited greatly from the conversations that I have had with them and with their channeled beings. The information that they have imparted is from a perspective of higher consciousness, and it is intended to be healing, empowering, or consciousness raising. It has contributed greatly to my understanding of some of life's bigger questions and to my ongoing spiritual development. To be clear, at the time of this writing, these 5 channelers have not all stepped into the limelight. I think most, if not all, will do it eventually. But as some of them are not comfortable being identified in a book at this time, I will not be identifying them by name. Did I mention that the ETs are already with us? Would you believe that they have been in contact with their governments for some time, and they will soon become much more public? Hearing this, you probably feel much like the indigenous people would have felt about 600 years ago if someone had told them that people with white skins and gigantic canoes with huge sheets would be coming from across the ocean. It's almost as fantastic as if someone 300 years ago said that we would be flying instead of riding horses or sailing ships when traveling to another country. If we look at the rate of change on this planet and plot it over a timeline, we would see a nearly parabolic curve that describes the past few years. 100 years ago, we didn't have television. And 50 years ago, we didn't have microcomputers in our homes. 20 years ago, cameras, computers, and telephones were separate devices. The rate of change has been and is increasing dramatically. Do you really think that we are creating all these changes all by ourselves? What do you think we'll see in another 50 to 100 years? Do you feel that it is outlandish to think that there are no other civilizations than ours, when science estimates that there are billions of solar systems with billions of galaxies? As well, do you think that an all-powerful creator, whose nature it is to create, would stop creating after just one civilization? To get the most from this book, keep your mind open. Let the information sink in, and then form your own conclusions. Enjoy.